Welcome to the Killshot MMA podcast for UFC Abu Dhabi. I'm Sniper, that's Monk. We are going to break down all 12 fights on DraftKings here on a Tuesday night. Get you queued up and ready for the card. DraftKings, we are going to skip Asu Almabayev against, who's the new opponent? It's a replacement. It is Jose
Jose
Ochoa.
Ochoa.
That fight is not on DraftKings. You need salaries to break down a DraftKings fight. All that analysis will be in the DFS Army Discord cheat sheet. I have a really strong stand on that fight as well, so make sure you check the link in the description on YouTube. All of my bios everywhere. Join us at DFS Army. Get access to the optimizers, more cheat sheets, ownership projections, all the good stuff to help you take down some DFS contests. Make that money with DFS Army. Long intro. Monk is back. Was at a flag football tournament last week. Monk, I assume your son scored about 300 touchdowns, and was the tournament MVP and was just teabagging on kids.
Well, in the first couple of games, but turns out there's like a 14-year-old kid from Miami who's like 6'4" and makes catches like Odell Beckham. He's got a goatee, a family, he works at a factory. So yeah, I think those guys won. So, but it was a great experience. Got to go to the Hall of Fame, hang out with my boys, and yeah, it was super fun.
Well, welcome back. We had a pretty good week here on the show. Granted, family way more important, but had a pretty good week. The Paulo Costa screaming from the rooftop play came through. I think Kevin Holland was probably the biggest miss, and he admitted on X he jacked up a lot of parlays. What the fuck you doing, Kevin Holland? Hey, get back on it, my boy.
Right.
So we're going to break down all 12 fights. As a reminder, I think pretty disappointing. Movsar Evloev and Aaron Pico is off. Aaron Pico not going to stay in the card. Movsar is a great fighter when he can make it to fight day. I think I saw a stat like half of his scheduled fights have been canceled. Not a good look. Have some fights on this card going to break it all down. Before we do that, one more promo as all of the people come into the live stream. Ask questions along the way, guys. We will try and address them. Do these Tuesday nights on my YouTube channel and X account at Sniper Wins. The recording and everything we posted on the DFS Army channels. Make sure you sign up there. Discount code is Sniper to help you guys out there. I think that's good. I think we got some people in here. Let's go ahead and let's knock through these fights. So we already covered Evloev and Pico is off. Almabayev was going to fight Temirov. Temirov is off the card. Almabayev now going to fight Ochoa. Oh, one last thing I did want to mention real quick is that this card starts at 12 Eastern Time on Saturday. Early start. I would set your lineups Friday night and then check for any changes and make last-second adjustments, or just know you're not going to have Saturday afternoon to get everything going. So make sure your lineups are set before lock, 12 o'clock Eastern. Going to go ahead. Oh, by the way, I didn't even mention the main event. Usually I tease the main event in the open. It is Bobby Whitaker and Rainer de Ritter. See if Ritter can keep his upset train rolling. Co-main event, I think we get pretty weak pretty quick. Piotr Jan, Marcus McGee, Bryce Mitchell, Saeed Nurmagomedov. A couple good fights. All the name
we
guys.
get Bogdan Guskov. That's good enough for me.
Well, how dare you shit on my underdog hype train who for some reason refuses to get any respect. Just refuses. We will talk about that here in a minute. Let's go ahead. Let's start with the first fight of the night. As I need to adjust here. And we'll go Damon Blackshear and Davy Grant. Blackshear, big old minus 340 favorite. Comeback on Davy Grant is plus 280. Your fight goes to decision prop minus 115. 50-50 each way between Blackshear and Grant. Your DraftKings salaries. Damon Blackshear is going to cost you about, who's up there in price? Why can't I find him? $9,000. Davy Grant is $7,200. Monk, 2 weeks since we got a statistical breakdown from you. By the way, our boy Vince likes the early fights.
Did they switch the order? I have this as the 5th fight.
I have all kinds of weird things here. I don't know if I love the early fights. Maybe for DraftKings we're going to talk about here in a second, but yeah, the only fights I'm interested in watching, if I take DraftKings out of it, the fights I'm like really interested to watch. Hebus Ricci, This fight, actually, Blackshear Grant, I am interested in this fight. I guess Shara MAB, and then Shara MAB, Bryce Mitchell Saeed. Yeah, I guess the last four. And in the co-main event, I only want to see if Marcus McGee is as good as he's kind of looked recently. I don't. We'll get to it. I don't think he is, but it's not a super strong take. So anyway, let's go back. We teed up Blackshear Grant before Vince sidetracked me. Love you, Vince. What you got for us, Monk?
Well, I sure hope this is not the first fight of the night. Um, I have Boudet and Buchecha as the first fight of the night, but we will go with this. I like this is a very close matchup as far as stats go. I just think Damone Blackshear is probably a shade better pretty much everywhere. They both have pretty good striking offense. They both land in between 4.75 and 5.25 strikes a minute. They both get hit with about 4 strikes a minute. Their takedown defenses are kind of similar, although Blackshear is about 10 points better. They both control about 50% of the control time. Blackshear, the main difference is he has not landed a knockdown, whereas Davy Grant had. Now, the minus 320 price tag I kind of get, but I think it might be a little too wide. Round by round, Davy Grant improves his basically all of his stats. I mean, his takedowns and control time stay the same, but his striking goes up by about 16 to 10% in each round. So does Damone Blackshear by about 25% from 1 to 2, and then 10% from 2 to 3. He also gets hit a bit too much for my liking in the third round, but Davy Grant gets hit basically every round. I just like Damone Blackshear a little bit better. Neither guy has beaten anybody really super good in the past few fights. I mean, it's Ramon Taveras, Asuncao, and Luis Smolka for Grant, and it's Alateng Haile, Cody Gibson, and Cody Stamen for Blackshear. I might have to change what I wrote. I think I said that he beat Batista, and that would be a mistake. Maybe on paper he did, but yeah, he kind of outstruck Batista, landed takedowns, 3 minutes of control time. That's probably his best opponent here. I just think Davy Grant, he's pushing 39, or he is 39 now, pushing 40. The age gap is going to be a factor. Both of them have about, similarly poor defenses, average to poor. But the offense for Blackshear, especially when it comes to reversals, especially inside the clinch and inside the distance, Blackshear's game just seems to be a lot better. So I like Blackshear in all formats here. You're not paying a ton for him. You're not paying a ton for either guy. I mean, Davy Grant's 500, almost 600 under his average, whereas Damone is a few hundred over his average. So you are paying up, but as far as 9,000 fighters go, I think Damone Blackshear has a decent shot of seeing some value, especially when every single time Davy Grant's been finished 4 out of 7 times, it comes via submission. So yeah, give me Damone Blackshear here. I like him in all formats.
Davy Grant's put together a nice little UFC career. So kind of like somebody else in this card who I think is a little bit surprising. 7-6 in the UFC. And he's been around for a long time. Actually, I think it's actually 7-5 because he lost his actually, this does count, doesn't it? 7-6. His fight against Chris Holdworth that I think was the tough finale. Look, I like Davy Grant, is what I'm trying to get at too. I really wanted to find a reason to pick Davy Grant because I like him. And he's good. He's got solid boxing. He's quick. But the problem is everything that I think he does, I think Damone Blackshear does a little bit better. I think Blackshear is a little quicker, a little slicker on the ground, can get takedowns, more power. I think Blackshear's just better and is improving. While Grant, we've made a joke of this the last few months. I am 12 days older than Davy Grant. So
Nice.
fighters who are older than me are a concern, and Davy Grant basically is my age. So great. I just gave out my whole birthday. Sweet. I expect 40th birthday presents this year from all you bitches. So I wanted to play Davy Grant. I just can't do it. There's other dogs I am going to pick on this card. You can mix in. Grant will be a secondary option for me because he's gritty. He's a vet. He finds ways to win some fights that I just didn't think beforehand he had any business winning. He's got good fight IQ. He's solid all around. It's really not taking a shot at him here. Just I can't find any one aspect where I can point him and say this is how he's going to win the fight. So I'm going to go Damone Blackshear. I will say, I know Grant's got some of that, it's been finished, but problem is up in this price range where Davy Grant is, I'll tell you, I mean, right off the bat, you got the highest. If I'm going 2 fights above and below, right? Buskov is the best GPP fight on the card, right? Aslan Elikana is right damn near. And same thing with Buchecha Boudet. Like those three fights are all higher exposure fights on both sides than this one is. It just kind of what it is. And then when and Haniyaya, or not Haniyaya, Muhammad Yahya, the problem there is I don't want any part of the dog, so any exposure is going to be taken up by Stephen Wen. We'll talk about that fight later, but you know, it's more ownership to be sucked away from it. So I am on Blackshear. Run back a little bit of Graham. Our friend Jan says Grant is going to be fueled by jellied eels and blood sausage. Can't lose. Gotta love those Brits. All right, let's move on and let's talk about the aforementioned Muhammad Yahya and Stephen Wen. Wen is minus 330. You should pause right fucking there. Stephen Wen is a minus 330 favorite in the UFC. Do you know how bad you have to be as an opponent in terms of UFC level to be plus 270 against Stephen Wen? Who, real quick, I know I'm getting into the breakdown early, but I can't. Stephen Wen has had one UFC fight, and he lost it to Jarno Evans. And that guy's a minus 330 favorite. Talk about some of the other fights that have led to that in a second. Let's finish the intro here. Don't have all the props for it. Over 1.5 rounds is minus 200. That leads me to believe that the fight ends of the distance is going to be about minus 170-ish. You'll get a little, probably be pick'em-ish for minus 2 for 2.5 rounds, minus 130 maybe, and then you'll get minus 170 for the full ends inside the distance. Your DraftKings salaries we alluded to before as well. Nguyen is 9,200. Yaya is 7,000. Mungai, I mean, I clearly gave away where I'm going here, but do you like yourself some what I would consider a contrarian play in Muhammad Yahya?
Hell no. This dude has looked absolutely terrible. Against Trevor Peek, he got outstruck, he got taken down 4 times, and he got controlled in 5 minutes out of 15. Just looked terrible. Landed 2.8 strikes a minute. Did land a takedown, but had no control time or not many ground strikes to go on. Out of those 43 shots, he did target the body a third of those, which I guess is a good thing. But that's about the only positive note I can make from there. And against Kawe Fernandez, this dude landed 4 strikes in almost 5 minutes while he got hit with 37 strikes in the same amount of time. No takedowns or control time in that fight. It just looked bad. Now on Stephen Wen, it's like, all right, I'm picking this guy to win, but at minus 320 or whatever he said, this dude lost to Alon Cruz. He beat AJ Cunningham, and then he loses to Jarno Aarons. Like, there is nothing good about this fight really at all. It should be very low level, very high variance. That said, Stephen Wen should have, he should win this fight. Muhammad Yahya's defense is some of the worst on the entire card, and it's really not close. The only category which he stands out is his clinch striking defense. And we don't really see much of that from Stephen Wen. He tends to stay on the outside. The takedowns he doesn't hardly do. Control time, 59% to 41. Yahya allows 93% control time. He allows 5 strikes a minute and only lands 2.3. Meanwhile, Wen lands 7 strikes a minute, but gets outstruck 7.36 to 7.15. So if we're not going to see a ton of volume from Muhammad Yahya, which I doubt that we are, and his defense looks that bad, I have to go with Stephen Wen. I would never bet that. But he would have scored well in his Dana White Contender Series win over AJ Cunningham. He would have put up 121 in a second round finish. But against Jarno Aarons, he scored 31 in a very lackluster fight in which he was $9,400. So we're doing this again. He's what, 93, 9,200? So we're trying this again against a similarly bad fighter, probably a bit worse, actually. So definitely. I don't know. Yahya is at home, if that means anything to some of you. But yeah, I'm picking Wen. But like I said, very low level. Anything could happen, but I'm not really going to play a ton of Yahya here.
Yeah, I guarantee you, Stephen Wen's manager and coach got this proposal, and we're like, "Yep, yeah."
Yeah, he probably forged his signature. Like, got to get this signed immediately.
Yeah. So pretty much covered it. I do think there's some better options other than Nguyen instead in terms of scoring. So with that, because I don't think it's a very live dog, because
I'm pretty sure Nguyen wins, but I don't think he scores well. I'm going to be under to this fight overall and kind of move on about my day and hopefully not get my tits burned by it. But I will be under to this fight. Let's talk a fight you should not be under. And I'm going to throw some people slightly here. Slightly. Marcus Buchecha and Martin Budai. Buchecha is minus 300. Budai is plus 250. Fight ends inside the distance. Minus 250. Super solid fight to target. Buchecha is the favorite, and he's only 9,100. Taking on Budai, the comeback is 7,100. This is probably definitely my favorite fight to target in terms of GPPs. Even though one's got a slightly better inside the distance prop for under 1.5 rounds, I really think this one is Buchecha early or Budai. Do not, and I know I've been going to Monk first, but I feel strongly about this one. I gotta say a couple words before we kick it over there for the stats. Don't let anybody tell you Martin Budai is terrible, because I've kind of heard that, and then like you just I know I've said not to WikiCat, but just quickly, if you're gonna tell me a guy is terrible, yeah, he shouldn't be 6-1 in the UFC. And you can tell me that heavyweight is bad, and I get it, and it is. He's still 6-1 in the UFC. That's not nothing. Now, for those of you who don't know Marcus Buchecha, before we get into the stats, and then I'll do a little more technical analysis after. Buchecha has been fighting in one, just like Rainier DeRitter. He is he's 5-1 as a MMA fighter, and you're like 5-1. What's he been doing? He is a 4th degree Brazilian jiu-jitsu black belt, fucking just psycho. The other thing to note about him, and I want to make sure the exact number is right here, because it seems weird. Yeah, he's 35 years old, so clearly that is and by the way, he's not a 5'4" heavyweight.
He's not a what? 5'4" heavyweight?
UFC stats has him at 5'4".
Oh, geez.
Marcus Buchecha is not 5'4".
I'd say that's a typo.
Yeah, Tapology has him at 6'3". Can you imagine if you were 5'4", 255?
Yeah, your name would be Chris Barnett.
Yeah. No, Chris Barnett is much taller than that, and that's kind of exactly my point. So, submission ace against a 6-1 UFC experienced fighter, Buchecha being the big old favorite. Monk, where are you going with this?
Yeah, like you said at the beginning, it's either Buchecha late or it's clearly Budai. Budai clearly has the DraftKings upside, and it's really not close. All Buchecha does is submit people and take them down, and that's really going to be difficult to pay off a 90 something 91 did you say? Yeah, $9,100 salary. That seems kind of wild to me, and we have no idea what he's going to look like outside of round one. We know exactly what Budai is, but some people are in denial. He's just a slow plodding low volume motherfucker, lands almost 5 strikes a minute. He's not a low volume striker. He never has been, and I really don't understand why people say that, and it's kind of aggravating. But yeah, well over 4 strikes a minute in every round, over 5 in the second round. He has tons of control time himself, over a minute on average in each round, and that's cage control time. So he's, holding you up against the cage. He's not landing takedowns. Maybe he landed 1, I think, overall, something like that. Yeah, it was against Josh Parisian. He does have 100% takedown defense, but there's only been 4 attempts, and 2 of them were, I don't even remember who. Probably doesn't matter. His last fight, Sadi Baldiev, whoever that guy is. So, yeah, I'm picking Budai here. I know Buchecha has the the 4 degrees black belt, and but we have no idea how he takes a punch. We have no idea what he's going to look like when big old bald ass Martin Budai is holding him against the cage. He probably doesn't want to do that, but probably wants to keep it at distance. But this is crazy. Budai has never been an underdog in the UFC, not ever, and now he's like minus or plus 250 at 7,100. I don't even know what his cheapest salary is. Let me look. He was 7K against Uran Saltabaldia. That must have been a late replacement because those salaries don't add up. But other than that, he's basically, 8,000 is his lowest salary other than that. So he's never been an underdog. And now he's a gigantic underdog to a guy with 6 MMA fights. That is the important part. This is not a grappling tournament. It's not ADCC. You do get punched in the face here. So yeah, I'd have to see it from Buchecha before I, roster a ton of them. But it's obviously first round sub or probably loss, for this one. So I understand why you'd want to play both sides in GPPs, but I'm outright picking Martin Budai here.
Well, I thought I was going to have to tell people, hey, don't sleep on Martin Budai. Now I'm going to have to tell you, hey, I'm still picking Buchecha. Don't go too far. To me, I am going to be this is what I'm going to be overweight to both sides of. Because I think if Buchecha wins, it's within the first 2.5 minutes. And I think there's a real possibility for the under 60-second bonus here. Like, I think of all the fights in the card, this is the most likely for me to get the under 60-second bonus. And that's, again, it's not like I'm taking the biggest ITD prop and saying that actually goes to Aslan Elikana. But that goes to
I was gonna say that one has a definite chance of a 1 minute finish.
So does Guskov Krylov.
Yep.
I really like this fight. Just because to me it seems so. The more times I run it back, either Buchecha's going to get him real early and put up 100+ points, or he's not going to be able to get takedowns, and Budai is going to volume him, and at that price, anything goes. So that's why I love this fight. Buchecha, though, is physically strong. You have to worry a little bit about like what happened to Rodolfo Vieira and totally BJJ gassing out. But again, different fighters. Haven't really seen that from him. He has gone to decision before. He did lose that fight in one against Umar Kane, but he's gone the distance before. Kind of that learning experience fight happened there. Again, Budai has got the, I think, slightly deceiving 100% takedown defense, as you mentioned. I think Buchecha gets a takedown, finishes him early, but if not, I'm good to go in GPPs. Do not play this one in cash. Just love it for your tournaments.
Even then, I don't know. His salary is so much that a takedown in a first round finish, if it's not in the first minute, might not even get him like 98 points.
Might not, but I'm willing to risk it. And GPP's in 9,100. He's not 94, 95.
Yeah, that's true.
91 isn't And who are you going to play? Buchecha at 91, Wen at 92, or Piotr Jan at 93?
Peter Yan.
Or you can go to 3 rounds. He's going to strike against Marcus McGee.
He's going to strike a bunch against Marcus McGee.
I guess, but he better finish him. Otherwise, that takedown early finish is fine. If he doesn't strike, if he doesn't finish Marcus McGee, right, and they just stand and strike, he needs 150 strikes to score 90 points. That's a lot of fucking strikes for 3 rounds. Like, he's not Max Holloway, but he could get a finish. I'm just making the point with who's up in this range. I think Buchecha is a really strong play. All right, let's move on and let's talk. We're not going to talk Asuama Bayev and Jose Ochoa, DFS Army members only for that one because we don't have salaries yet. So get in the Discord, join us there, and we'll move on to Ibo Aslan and Billy Elikana. Aslan is minus 255, Elikana plus 215. Fight ends into the distance as minus 400, 50-50 to be 1.5 rounds. So another GPP special type of fight here. DraftKings salaries. Aslan 8,900, Elikana 7,300. Monk, where you going?
This is a huge GPP fight, like I think you mentioned. I like Aslan a lot here. I don't really think a lot of Billy Elikana, to be honest. My guy Guskov absolutely smashed him in his debut fight. Subbed him in the second round, landed a takedown.
Short notice, for what it's worth. Short notice.
What's that? Oh yeah, short notice. Oh no, he didn't land a takedown, but he landed 5.5 strikes a minute and ended up with 1.5 minutes of control. Elikana did get a takedown and some control, but he didn't really do much with it at all. And he's also looking like kind of a headhunter. Speaking of headhunters, we have Ibo Aslan on the other side, and that's pretty much all he does. He did throw leg strikes, actually, in his Dana White Contender Series fight and against the Pleasure Man. But yeah, he hasn't really fought anyone, and the one time he stepped up a little bit to Iwan Kutalaba, he got subbed in 3 minutes. Now, we're not really worried about that so much with Elikana. I mean, he does have one sub finish, but that's not really probably what he's going to do. He landed 2.34 strikes in that fight per minute, and he got hit with 5.5. Meanwhile, Ibo Aslan, 7.84 is what he lands, gets hit with about 5. My biggest problem is, while Elikana does have, I guess he did get taken down. Yeah, no, he didn't. No takedown attempts, but he has no striking defense, like none whatsoever. 33.8% is his striking defense in that first fight. I know it was only 8 minutes, super small sample size, but still, we got to work with what we got. Aslan has a 63% striking defense, and he lands over 50% of his strikes. Doesn't control any of the control time like whatsoever. So if Elikana is somehow able to not get knocked down and level change and get Aslan down, then I would be pretty worried about going super high on Aslan. But at the same time, this could easily be a quick win. Minus 250 seems kind of narrow, to be honest, and we get this dude at 8,900. I love this for GPPs. Probably not touching it in cash unless I'm feeling real risky, but I usually don't. So yeah, I'm going with Aslan to knock out Billy Elikana here.
Same, not much really to add. Don't think Elikana is going to stick around the UFC too long. Great GPP fight on both sides, but much heavier on the Aslan side. I'll even borderline be under on Elikana. But there's other spots on this card that I'm willing to totally X out that I'm probably going to run. I probably will secondary run Elikana, like in terms of how I'm tier ranking them. There's a primary list of dogs and a secondary list, and then the guys I'm just going to. For me, it's 4 tiers. For anybody curious, I kind of do my primary underdogs, my secondary dogs, guys who I'm playing just a little bit of, and then the ones I'm full fading. And he probably falls in that second bucket just because of the fight's upside. Not like Aslan, he's wild. He is a wild, aggressive fighter.
Mm-hmm.
That can lead to some variance, but I just can't straight up pick Elikana. So I'll take the GPP special and side with Ibo Aslan. All right, we get Muslim, the Ancient One, Salikov. That is his official nickname, by the way, against Carlos Leal. Leal, minus 500. Salikov, plus 375. Fight ends on the distance, minus 220. So another one that we expected to see a finish here. For DraftKings salaries for this one, Leal, second most expensive fight on the card at 9,400. Salikov is at 6,800. Monk, who you got?
Well, everyone knows Leal should be 2-0 in the UFC. He got robbed. Yeah, robbed. Straight up robbed by the judges against Renat Fakhretdinov. Stuffed 17 of his takedowns. Fantastic. Did get outstruck in that one, but still landed 7 strikes a minute. And looked fantastic in the later rounds for sure. Muslim Salikov, I mean, he's
the dumbest number I've seen, by the way.
What's that?
I didn't notice this because I really don't. I mean, a lot of times UFC stats is it's like the last thing I look at because I watch film and salaries and then some odds. 79 strikes in one round. Was it that high?
Yeah.
I saw it was an ass beating, but it was 79.
Yeah, 8.5 strikes per minute is what that comes out to, or 18 and a half strikes per minute.
Yeah, he still had 30 seconds to work with.
Yeah, it's crazy. It was nuts. Meanwhile, Salikov's like the opposite of that. Actually, he did just come off of the most strikes he's ever landed per minute against Song Kanan, in which he somehow found a less than 4 minute finish. But other than that, I mean, there are finishes, but there's a ton of decisions. His only wins outside of the Kanan fight are like against Ponzi, who is 37, Andre Fiallo, who's terrible, Francisco Trinaldo, who is somehow still older than Muslim Salikov. And yeah, it's just not a ton of great wins. He never looks really, really good. And he doesn't generally land a ton of strikes, while Carlos Leal just lands a ton. I mean, we just said that 18. I know he's only fought for, what is that, just over 19 minutes total, but we're at 9.65 strikes a minute. He gets hit with 7.7, so not ideal, right? But Salikov doesn't even land 3.5 per minute, so we're not too worried about that. What we are worried about is that somehow Salikov still has the power in his hands, which we have seen on display, especially in a few occasions here. I mean, he knocked down Song Kanan, he knocked down old-ass Trinaldo, so he's still getting it done without throwing a ton of strikes. He just really doesn't look too good ever, which is why the last fight was so surprising, at least to me. But I like Leal here. There's a 10-year age gap as well, which should come into play. And I don't know, man. If you are almost beating Renat, or technically beating Renat Fakhretdinov, and then going out and beating Alex Morono in the way that he did, I mean, I don't see how you don't beat Muslim Salikov here. The salary, I think he's pretty expensive, 9,400. It really could pay off. Salikov is kind of tough to finish, but he has been finished 3 times in the UFC, once in the first and twice in the second. So that's kind of what we're hoping for at 9,400. Because if this goes the distance, Leal's really not going to pay that off. It's not like he gets takedowns a ton or a ton of control time. It's less than 7%. But yeah, the striking's there. The striking defense is okay percentage wise, but he gets hit a ton. Hopefully we won't see that from Salikov, and Leal can just keep the pace on the 41-year-old guy and get the job done here.
Totally agree. I'm higher on Leal. Salikov, those buckets I was talking about, he's going to follow those guys I play just a smattering of. Like he's damn near close to me for a fade. Other spots I want to target. Too old, not enough volume. Even if he wins, the volume he throws at, if it's decision, even at his price, I don't think he gets there. I just don't see him finishing Leal. I don't see it. So it's one of those going to take a stand on. Give me Leal. Better everywhere, more dynamic, age on his side, athletic ability. It's hard to. I don't see a way through for Muslim Salikov other than just say 4-ounce gloves. Oh, I landed something. Can happen, but give me Leal pretty much everywhere. All right, let's talk about a fight that I think is, well, let's get to it here. Amanda Ribas, Tabitha Ricci. Ribas, minus 185. Baby Shark Ricci, plus 160. Fight goes to decision, minus 350. DraftKings salaries. Ribas is 8,600. Ricci is 7,600. Monk, to me, we have a case of a fight that I handicapped. I thought that this should be a dead pick. I was expecting minus 110 aside. Now that I get Ricci at this number, I go, well, I get some value on the odds. I get some value on DraftKings as well. And now it's one I have to consider. Where when I was looking at him, I was like, I expected it to be pick 'em and just no interest. What do you got?
I'm gonna go with the favorite here, and it's just because Tabitha Ricci just gets hit way too much, and she hasn't really faced a ton of grapplers. Her last few fights is Yan Jiaonan, Angela Hill, I guess Tisha Pennington, Lupi Godinez. I mean, Jillian Robertson's a grappler, but other than that, it's really not a lot. And she gets hit way too much. 4 strikes a minute in the first, 6.5 almost in the second, and almost 6 in the third round. She only lands 4 strikes a minute, basically, which Ribas lands a bit more, just barely, but she only gets hit with 3.24. And I think her grappling is way better. And I think her even her wrestling it's close, it's comparable. But the control time for Ribas, the overall jiu-jitsu for Ribas should be, a big factor here, especially if it goes to the ground. But I think Ribas could also just stand it and outstrike her in every single round. I don't really. I mean, I guess it's close to a pick-em-ish, I guess, in my head, but I see Ribas winning this 6 or 7 times out of 10. She's 5-1 at strawweight. She did go up to flyweight for a little bit. Her only loss was her last fight in that division against Mackenzie Dern, who subbed her with 4 seconds left. She didn't look great in that fight, but did land 2 takedowns and out-controlled Mackenzie Dern as well. So, yeah, Ricci just gets hit a bit too much. I don't like how she looks in the second and third round. And I just think Ribas can hang on and win a decision. As far as DraftKings, I am not really looking forward to playing this one at all. I have this as a 2-star fight. Nobody's really making the optimal lineup. Nobody's really putting their opponents optimal. They both average like 96 per win. Nothing crazy. I mean, that'll get the job done, especially for Ricci at 7,600. So there could be a little bit of value on here if we're saying that it's closer to a pick'em. But I like Ribas at strawweight. Her striking's pretty good. Her all-around game is pretty good. And again, Ricci just gets hit way too much. She has a 57, almost 58% striking defense, and she still gives up 5.29 strikes per minute.
Yeah, I just think it should be pick 'em because I think Ricci's going to be able to stop the takedowns. She's a very good grappler herself, even when it goes to the ground. And Ribas is better on the feet, at space. But if they get in tight, I think Ricci will be able to outmuscle her up in the clinch, dirty box a little bit. I think Ricci can kind of grind this type of fight out. I think Ribas in the feet will need to maintain space. I see this fight ending up in the clinch a lot, and I think Ricci's a little bit better there. Granted, I think Hebus. I also, because of that strength advantage, I think if this fight goes to the ground, Ricci is more likely to be able to get up. Whereas if she gets on top, I think Hebus is going to be playing guard and ceding some control time. Very close fight, regardless. Because of the salaries at 86.76, I have no interest in Hebus. Even if you think she wins, I think it's just not a good play for all the reasons we mentioned. Should go to decision. And flip, 7,600 for Ricci, makes her viable in cash, puts her live in GPP. The salaries are really what matter here in terms of DraftKings. Even if you disagree with me and think Hebus wins the fight, and again, I'm basically 50-50 on it with a slight lean towards Ricci. But even if you disagree and you're like 70-30 Hebus, got news for you. That's not enough for me to really want to roster a ton of her on DraftKings. Looking for upside, looking for optimal. I would be very surprised if Hebus hits it even in a win. Whereas Ricci, I think, has got a couple paths and then cheaper salary that make her viable there. All right, let's move on to, I think we got 2 fights in a row. And it's also worth mentioning on this card, there's a few fights that you just need to get damn near all of. And this is one, and they are, I mean, we'll talk about it, but Whitaker to Ritter is 5 rounds. You're going to want a bunch of that. Could argue for Yana McGee. That's not even one of the ones I'm talking about. Shara MAB is I think, a pretty high exposure fight for reasons we'll get into. Krylov Guskov, which we're going to talk about, high exposure. We already mentioned Aslan Alikana, Buchecha Budai, and I'll give you a hint. I'm pretty high on a fight that we're not talking about. Head into Discord to see which side, but one of the fights I'm not even going to talk about. So there's only so much room for the Amanda Hebus's, the Tabitha Ricci's, the Muhammad Yahya's, the Davy Grants who even I thought was live earlier. Like there's only so much room. Can't play everybody. Where are we? We're at Krylov Guskov. Nikita Krylov, Bogdan Guskov. Krylov is minus 200. Guskov is plus 170. Your fight ends into the distance, minus 160. Under 1.5 rounds is minus 158. To me, that just says load the fuck up. Like I'll probably be damn near all in on this fight. Your DraftKings salaries. Nikita Krylov is, where is he? Who the fuck is he?
I think he's
8,700 for the fight.
Yeah.
87. Bogdan Guskov is 7,500. They refuse to give my boy Bogdan any credit. Remember when he came in and people, including myself, were like, he's got a shot against Volkan Oezdemir, and then I think he UFC jitter shit his pants, and now he's just going to be a dog, and he's going to keep upsetting people. So I like Guskov. We'll talk about it more in a second. What are the stats say, Monk?
I like him too. And the fact that he came in after that Oezdemir fight and basically knocked out 2 heavyweights in Zach Paunga and Ryan Spann looks pretty good. And then he subs Billy Alicana pretty much with ease. So I really like that. Pair that with, Nikita Krylov just jumping into a huge, right hand or whatever it was from Dominic Reyes. I don't know how trustworthy he is. I mean, he also got a win over Ryan Spann. He did beat Volkan Oezdemir in a very, very washed Alex Gustafsson, but, got subbed by Craig, lost to the champ, lost to Glover at 39 years old, lost to Jan. I mean, those are good names, but I don't know how much I can trust Nikita Krylov here. I mean, this is definitely an all-in play. I think they have, 40 and 60 fights total between them professionally. 5 have gone to decision, just 5. So I think 5 of 6 of Nikita Krylov's fights since 2021, someone's made the optimal. And with Bogdan, it's 3 of his 4 UFC fights. So definitely play this one. You got to play both sides. I'm picking Guskov just because I'm a fan, and the salary savings here at 7,500. He doesn't even need, 99 points to 13x. So I love that. He's 400 under his average, where you're paying up for Nikita Krylov. It's only 87, but he's still 3.5, 350 over his average salary here. So anything could happen. The stats don't say a ton, except both guys have pretty shitty striking defense, and they both hit hard as hell. So, yeah, I'm going with Guskov here to get it done, and that's what I would love to see at 7,500 this week.
What I think people are doing, by the way, is they're seeing, hey,
Nikita Krylov beat Volkan Oezdemir.
Yeah.
Guskov got knocked out quick by him. Again, Krylov found success in the takedowns in that fight against Oezdemir. Guskov did not. Probably because Oezdemir was getting taken down and then improved his takedown defense a fucking shit ton. This one on the feet, like, I don't think either guy's going to really have a grappling advantage here. I think they're going to stand and trade. I've always thought Nikita Krylov is a little bit overrated. And I think if he can't get the fight to the ground, I think he's in a shit ton of trouble. Whereas Guskov, I think is more live there. He'll be fine on the feet. That being said, a Krylov win's not going to sink me in GPPs. This is a 5-star all-in fight. I said it at the open, but let's reiterate here. I'm probably the way I'm going to do this. I'm going to say, okay, I'm on the dog here. What's the ownership level of Krylov so he doesn't beat me in terms of syncing all my lineups? And I'll put that in, and then I'll load the rest up on Guskov and get way over the field.
Mm-hmm.
That's probably how I'm going to attack it. Another spot I'm going to do that with here. So I like Guskov. Krylov win, not going to sink me. And we'll take a stand here. I do think it'll be because of the minus 158 under 1.5 number. This is not going to be viable for a kill shot. It is going to be a popular play on both sides. So while sad, you can't read into my kill shot pick just yet, guys. So click on the wrong item here. Let's get back. And let's say hi to our friend Ash in the UK. Ash, you should be asleep. I mean, I know you well enough to know that you don't fucking sleep, and you're a psycho, and I love you, but go to bed. Right after you click the like button, share with all your friends, even though I know you already did.
Yeah, you got to get up and eat beans for breakfast tomorrow, so you got to get some sleep.
Don't fucking knock the English breakfast. How dare you? You do not knock the English breakfast.
I'm not a breakfast fan anyways, but you start throwing beans and fucking sausage in there, no.
I mean, you want an English breakfast or you want a bowl of Cocoa Puffs?
Neither. No breakfast for me. It makes a man weak.
Ashley hates beans.
I'm with Ashley.
All right. Let's move on and let's talk Shara Boat and Marc-Andre Barrio, which I think is how you have to say that name, just like Benoit Saint-Denis. Magomedov, though, is minus 650. Marc-Andre Barrio is plus 475. Fight ends inside the distance, minus 225. Should see a finish here. Two guys who should stand and trade, although MAB could look for a takedown here. Could. Shara is the most expensive fighter on the card at 9,600 because anybody who's going to stand and trade with MAB, whose name is not Michael Venom Page, is going to have some issues, my opinion. Barrio is 6,600, but I know Monk is not a Shara fan, so I want to hear how this goes. Who you got?
Yeah, he's way too expensive to play, in my opinion. It took like two double spinning back fists to finish Armen Petrosian in the 10th minute. He did score well, 106. He did make the optimal that week, so I can't totally shit on him. But not beating Antonio Tricoli before the third round is a crime, and that's probably why he can no longer fight in the USA, because they just won't let him in because of that. To be quite honest, so
I don't think that's why.
Yeah, maybe not. Or it's the fact that he could never get cleared by any association, but that's another story. Yeah, I was looking for a reason to pick MAB. I mean, both guys strike very well. It's like 6 strikes a minute. MAB does get hit more, but he also has a better significant striking defense. I don't know what that says. Just people just like to tee off on him. But both guys have very, very lackluster, striking defense. And it shows. I mean, Shara, he lands almost 6 strikes a minute in every round, but he does nothing else, nothing whatsoever. While at least Barrio, the takedowns are very few and far between for sure, but he does average, over half a minute of control time in each round. So I assume that's cage control time, which is going to, play into his hands here against Shara, who really needs to be at distance and open space to really, get anything going whatsoever. He's outlanding all of his opponents. Great. Went to decision with Bruno Silva, who's a human finish. He gets finished. I don't know. I was going to say human finishing machine, but that makes it sound like he's finishing, and he's not. He went to decision with Michael Oleksiejczuk.
Some kind of porn star, and I still don't know which side.
Yeah, there you go. He went to decision with Oleksiejczuk, who I think is in a different weight class now. I don't remember, or that was his new one. I can't remember. But either way, he's a round one or bust guy, and he went all 15 minutes. Petrosian, like I said, 10 minutes. Then he gets cut from the UFC. And then Michael Venom Page, he didn't do a fucking thing against him. 2.5 strikes a minute. I mean, in his defense, Page didn't do shit against him either. So, any Michael Venom Page fight is a very, very hard stay away. It's even worse than Izzy. Like, Izzy's always a stay away in DraftKings. Michael Venom Page is definitely more of one. Add to that this dude scores like shit when he wins. It's like 92 points. Outside of that 106 that he scored, his average is still just 92. 74 against Mikal, 93.5 against Tricoli, 97 against Silva. All those things, all those numbers have in common is he is not going to make the optimal lineup if that's the case. So I don't trust him. I mean, I trust him to get the win, I guess. I don't trust him to finish early, and I do not trust him to pay off this salary. So I'll be well under the field on Chara Magomedov, and if he dispatches Barrio in the first round, which has happened 3 times in the UFC, then I'm probably going to be out some points. But at 9,600, this just seems like a clear stay away. And add to that, if somehow Barrio gets out of the first round, like he all of a sudden becomes quote unquote a value play at what's his salary? Like $6,600. He's 1,500 under his average salary, where Chara is like almost 1,000 over. Like, this is kind of a no-brainer as long as he gets out of the first round. Don't get finished in the first round, which Chara has not shown that he can do whatsoever. In fact, his first round stats are just kind of awful. I mean, actually not really. 5.8 strikes a minute. He does that kind of in every round, but there's nothing else happening. I mean, he's gotten knockdowns in the second and third, but he's not really doing much in the first round, and he's extremely predictable for the most part as far as what his game plan is going to be. So also, he has one eye, so just punch him on that side of his face and you'll be good. So yeah, give me I guess I picked Chara. I wanted to say Barrio, but Barrio's the clear DraftKings pick in my opinion.
For what it's worth, Marc-Andre Barrio has been knocked out 3 times in the first round. Chidi and Jaquani got him in 16 seconds. Joe Pyfer got him a minute 25 in. And really concerningly, Dustin Stoltzfus got him real early in that fight as well. So that's the upside argument for Chara. I do think Chara is better everywhere. I don't see Barrio getting takedowns in this fight. It's probably what he should try and do. Physically stronger guy. Clinch could be good, but Chara is just better. He has to be the pick. I will agree with you that I think it's going to be very hard for him to pay 9,600. And because I think we have a favorite who's going to have a hard time paying off his salary and an underdog with a really limited path to victory here, I'm probably just going to be underweight to the whole fight. I've already said 4 fights I want to jam in fucking tons of. This one just going to be under on both sides. I'll probably have 5% or less of Barrio, and if he lands something crazy, oh well. And I'll probably be like half the field on Chara. That's my initial gut take to it. But we'll see how the week unfolds with the optimizer starts spitting out and how we have to adjust. But I do agree Chara wins, and overall don't love the fight for DFS.
Yeah, and don't count on Barrio with his takedowns. He hasn't even attempted one in at least his last 10 fights.
Yeah, it's been a minute. Bryce Mitchell, Saeed Nurmagomedov. Mitchell, minus 130. Nurmagomedov is plus 110. Fight ends to the distance, minus 115, so 50-50 there. DraftKings salary, we got our mid-range fight here. Mitchell, 8,300. Saeed is 7,900. But I really hate that DraftKings won't just give us like 8,100 aside. But let's get back to what stuff used to be. Salary's getting fucking stupid. Before Monk gives his breakdown, let's remind, and some of you are going to be like, well, no shit. But if you're not familiar, yes, his last name is Nurmagomedov. No, he's not a grappler. He's a kickboxer. I know that's fucking weird. Kickboxing, Muay Thai, that's his strength and game. Not a grappler. Okay, Monk, take it away.
Not a grappler, but has attempted 26 takedowns since Cody Stamann. So that's like 6 fights ago. I know most of those came against Oliveira, in which he was getting a little bit outstruck. And then the other 9 were against Martinez, where he was actually landing more strikes as well. And
one for nine's a problem.
Got some control time. Yeah, 1 for 9 is definitely a problem for sure. I mean, Bryce Mitchell's only path to victory is getting Saeed down and just controlling him. That's it. You're likely not going to see a finish from Bryce Mitchell.
To be fair, that's Bryce Mitchell's path to victory in every fucking fight.
Exactly. And it has been backfiring.
No, not from where I'm sitting. It's been
for him. It's been great to watch.
I hope there's a late notice replacement on Saturday. And Josh Emmett walks into the cage.
No shit. But yeah, you know what's worse than 1 of 9 takedowns? 1 of 14, and that's what Bryce Mitchell went against John Silva. He attempted 14 takedowns in less than 9 minutes. Crazy. Did some striking, probably his best striking actually since the most strikes per minute since the Topuria fight. But I got to go with Saeed Nurmagomedov here. First of all, my bias towards hating Bryce Mitchell, like most other people, is just very, very strong. And I'm trying not to think about it, but it's just aggravating. The only problem is Nurmagomedov, when he loses, he gets out-controlled tremendously. Loke Dog, 7 minutes. Martinez, 6 minutes. He does have control time of his own, but he obviously does his best work, at distance, I guess, but especially on the feet inside the distance, like clinch work against the cage, dirty boxing, stuff like that. Both guys have very good defense, okay takedown defense. I mean, percentage-wise, Saeed is double what Mitchell's is, but who's trying to take Mitchell down? Most people don't want to go to the ground with Mitchell unless you're John Silva. So, and even then, he didn't attempt any takedowns. But I got to go with Nurmagomedov. I mean, Bryce Mitchell, what's his salary? 8,300. These are fine. You can play either guy as far as GPPs, I guess. But Mitchell, not the best scorer, and Saeed Nurmagomedov is right there with him. So Mitchell's only made it once in 3 wins, with Nurmagomedov making it twice in 4 wins. Mitchell's put more opponents optimal, but just barely. You get to save salary on both guys, so I really don't have a problem there. But the big deal is they're only scoring 92 points per win, and that's usually not very good. Even at 8,300 and 7,900, depending on how the 9K guys score, that might not be good enough to make the optimal lineup, even as a $7,900 dog. So I'm going to kind of not fade it, but I have this as a 2-star fight. I'm rooting for Nurmagomedov. I think he has more paths to victory, but that definitely is hinged on do not get taken down, and even more so, don't get controlled by Bryce Mitchell. If that happens, no one's going to score well, because Mitchell, I mean, he land strikes on the ground, but it's not a ton, and just neither guy's going to score well in a decision. So I forget what you said that was. It looks like -115 as far as a finish. I think that probably widens a little bit towards the goes to decision line before the week is done. So give me Saeed Nurmagomedov, but I'm not too excited about playing this one.
I hate this because I'm going to pick Bryce Mitchell. I am taking the bias out of it. I do think he gets takedowns against Saeed, 62% takedown defense, and a lock dog got him down. I think Mitchell can get him down. I just objectively, it's definitely objectively, trust me, because it was subjectively, we're putting a pretty big bet on Saeed, but objectively, I think Bryce can get him down, control him, score. I think the scoring on both sides is okay because Saeed is live to a knockout, because Mitchell, if he can't get knockdowns, he's going to get desperate and can do something stupid. We've seen Saeed with body shot knockdowns before, has power. Like, I think both sides are okay. I will lean towards the Mitchell side. This is a very vanilla, middle-of-the-road fight. Usually I like to take a stand here, but again, I've mentioned it, but I'm trying to – every slate I feel like has a theme that I need to hit home. Sometimes it's, hey, this is stars and scrubs. Sometimes it's mid-range. Sometimes it's a couple underdog slam. The theme to this card is one that is pretty common, so it's worth – people on DFS Army have heard me say this before. This is one I think we have very clear 4-ish fights that you just should go overweight on both sides and then mix in your other favorite plays. I think we've made, and this one is just going to end up in that kind of vanilla wash range of other guys who could be a last man in. I don't think you take a stand here. But I will be on the Bryce Mitchell side, and I fucking hate that. I feel dirty. I'm going to go take a shit and pretend I'm dumping on his face right after this. I know. Make that weird, but that's how I feel. I had Taco Bell for dinner, too. Eating healthy over here. All right, let's go Piotr Jan and Marcus McGee.
Piotr Jan is a minus 400 favorite. McGee is plus 300. Fight goes to decision minus 260. That to me is concerning for DraftKings scoring because again, if Piotr Jan lands 150 strikes at range and goes to decision and wins, that is 90 points at his salary of 9,300. Concerns me. McGee is 6,900. I think this is a bit fast for him, but I mean maybe not. He's 4-0 in the UFC with 3 finishes and a dominant win over Jonathan Martinez. This might be about right, actually. See where he's at. So I don't know if he's quite this level. I it's one of those we're gonna find out. And I watched the tape on him. He's real good. I just feel like this is not the right analogy, but skill wise, he almost feels like a Neil Magny. Like he's gonna be in the top 10 for like ever. But I don't know if he's gonna really make a run. Maybe I'm wrong, and that's what he's gonna find out. We're gonna find out against Piotr Jan. Make me look silly, but for me, and again, sorry I went first here, Monk, but it's pretty straightforward. It's Jan by decision. You can play him in cash games if you want some safety. I don't think there's a ton of upside for me personally, based on how I think he wins the fights in that decision prop. And McGee will be that secondary dog option because how often do you get to roster a guy as an underdog who's 10-1, looking real good in the UFC? So and for what it's worth, Piotr Jan has terrible fight IQ. Like anything could fucking happen here. Yes, I'm talking about Aljamain Sterling again, but it could definitely happen. So give me Jan, and that's my fight breakdown. Monk, I promise you can go first for the main event. I jumped in on you.
Oh, you're all good. I'm a big Marcus McGee fan. If you've been playing him in DraftKings, you've had him on the optimal lineup in 2 of his 4 fights. He has won 4 in a row, but let's step back. It's Journey Newson, it's JP Bays, and it's Gaston Bolaños. Yeah, the Martinez fight was good. I loved that fight.
That's a great win. Great win.
It is a great win. But Peter Yan, this dude's losing to champions. That's it. That is it. And he's beating, guys that are either fighting for titles or ex-champions themselves for the most part. And he's looking pretty good doing it. Yeah, I agree. He does have pretty bad fight IQ, and his personality has a lot to be desired. I think I was the only guy who was still an Aljamain Sterling fan after all that shit. I just couldn't. I loved
Aljo. Listen,
it blows my mind.
The same people who fucking were like, how the fuck could Aljamain do that? Are the same people who are like, how the fuck could Anthony Smith not take the title?
Yeah.
It's the same person.
Mm-hmm.
It's the same thing. And you get hit in the face and see what fucking happens.
Didn't even just get hit in the face. He got fucking kneed in the face. Like it's different. That's
people who are like, that wasn't that hard. No, that was a hard shot. And then if you're smart, and so you can hate it all you want, spirit of company, all that bullshit. You got to think it's that payday. You probably, if you can think this fast, you're gonna get a disqualification. You're gonna be the champion. You're gonna make money that way. There's gonna be a rematch, and they're gonna run that back. And that's another pay-per-view. Like that's a lot of money.
And now you're the champ.
That's millions of dollars, and you're the champ. And if you want to take it one step further, which people hate this fucking point, and now I can make it. It's how at least I made a ton of money in the rematch. He won the first 3 rounds and gassed out because he was too excited, didn't have that championship level experience. And in the second fight, what did he do? He managed himself better, and he whooped Piotr Jan's ass.
Yep.
So for what it's worth, the only reason he was going to lose the first fight is because he gassed. But sorry, we digress here. So Peter Yan's rough for me. He's not quite Bryce Mitchell, but he's I think what bothers me about him is he's a dum-dum, and I don't like dum-dums.
Yeah. Not the brightest crayon in the box, I believe they say. But yeah, he should also be 9-5. There's no not 9-5. Sorry, 11-3. There's no way he lost that Sean O'Malley fight. It's just not a possibility. Even Sean O'Malley doesn't believe that. and that's the guy that says he beat Cheeto Vera in the first one, even though he was on the ground, not winning the fight. But yeah, minus 380 is probably about right. Peter Yan is probably better everywhere. The quickness on the feet, the striking display that he can put on against certain people looks fantastic, and we just haven't seen it from McGee. Like, I'm rooting for him, but I can't. I mean, his strength of schedule is not comparable. It's not even the same fucking ballpark as what Peter Yan's got going on. So McGee's got fantastic defensive metrics, but again, it's all outside of the Martinez fight. These are all like scrubs that are no longer in the UFC. Like, that's just what it is, and he did exactly what he was supposed to do against them, whoop their ass. So we do love to see that. I just think Peter Yan they say this is a levels fight. This is of several levels above who he's been fighting for sure. So I'm going with Yan by decision. It is going to be tough to play him at 9,300. He's not probably going to score very well. But if he loses, McGee is definitely going to make the optimal lineup. So I'm going to have some McGee. I'll have some Peter Yan. I think I have this as a 4-star fight. I don't know. I might have to change that to 3, but it's probably for all the upside on the huge underdog here. I just think Peter Yan is better everywhere, and we're going to see that here this week unless he does something real dumb, which is not out of the realm of possibility.
All right, guys, main event time. Smash the like button. Share with your friends. Let's talk Robert Whittaker, Rainier de Ritter. Whittaker minus 150. De Ritter is plus 130. Fight ends inside the distance is good old minus 265. DraftKings salaries. Whittaker's 8,400. De Ritter is 7,800. Monk, I won't step in first as I did in the co-main. Main event time. Break it down. Who you got?
Well, I think this is maybe not a hot take, but definitely not the most common take. I am going to pick RDR to get it done here.
It's the first time we differ in a main event in a long time. It's been a minute.
That's true, and I could easily be wrong. Let me preface that with I could easily be wrong. Robert Whittaker could come out and be like, "Who the fuck do you think I was?" Like, and I'd be like, "I'm sorry, I'm sorry, Bobby Knuckles. I didn't know." But every single time Whittaker. Yeah, exactly. Every single time Whittaker loses, outside of the second Adesanya fight, maybe both of the Adesanya fights actually, he's getting taken down more than he's taking down, and he's getting severely out-controlled. Yes, one was Khamzat Chimaev. Yes, one was DDP. But if Ritter can not stay at distance, meaning close the distance, get this dude up against the cage and just drag him to the ground, I don't see how he doesn't have at least a decent shot at winning this fight. And I know I just talked about strength of schedule with Marcus McGee and how there's levels to this shit. There probably is levels to this one too. And Robert Whittaker might, he's obviously a huge step up from Bo Nickel, a huge step up from Kevin Holland and GM3. He just looked so freaking good last time. Even in every clinch position against Bo Nickel was just, he looked fantastic. And that's exactly what, Khamzat was doing. That's exactly what DDP was doing. Everybody's like, oh, he smashed Alaskarov and he was supposed to lose that fight. Well, I think Alaskarov's fine. He hasn't proven anything in my book. And technically, RDR hasn't really either. But I just think Robert Whittaker is probably, I'm not even going to say fight old, but he's taken a lot more damage for sure than RDR has. And I think the very specific path that De Ritter has to winning this fight has happened before to Robert Whittaker, and I think it could happen again. Now, at any time, especially round 3, 4, 5, Runner De Ritter could completely collapse. We don't know what his cardio looks like, especially in the 4th and 5th round. Even in the 3rd round, it didn't look the best against GM3. I know he got the finish, and we only saw it for a minute and a half, but he was clearly a little bit tired. Robert Whittaker is probably not going to get tired. It's just the defense. His takedown defense is 81%, but he gets kind of out controlled. It's about 50-50. I just think De Ritter has a clear path, and the guys we've seen take that path to victory have won the fights over Robert Whittaker. So I got to go with De Ritter. It's probably not the smartest pick, but we're gonna go with it. Again, would not be surprised if Whittaker just put me in my place and was like, yeah, you must have forgot. So give me RDR, but I'm really looking forward to this one, especially if he wins. Like, RDR, the ceiling is the fucking sky after this if he wins this one. So it's going to be pretty exciting to see what happens either way, because if Robert Whittaker wins, he's only 34. He's kind of getting back into the conversation. Maybe he fights, I guess, did he fight Paulo Costa? Yeah, he beat him. Yeah, he kind of beat his ass, actually. So I don't know who you would put him against, but he's got to be back in the conversation. I mean, it sucks that he's also lost to DDP pretty badly, so it might be a couple fights, but
you probably get a Dricus rematch, honestly.
I mean, it could be there for sure.
Because you got to have
I mean, Izzy's not going to do anything. Vittori Law. I mean, maybe you put him against Brendan Allen or some shit. I don't know.
Yeah, because we got. I forgot. We have Dricus and Hamzat. Hamzat's next.
Yeah. So maybe he fights the winner of that or something.
I don't know, but regardless, let's Monk. You must have forgot. This is Bobby Knuckles.
That is true.
Rainier DeRitter, really good run off of one. Mearshart, grappling specialist. Holland, wrong weight class. Bo Nickel, not ready. Whitaker, I think it's going to take RDR getting run down, tired. I think Robert Whitaker.
That's the big issue.
Robert Whitaker is even close to prime. This to me is a less scary version of Yoel Romero. Now, granted, it's years and years ago, and recently he's been taken down, but I don't think RDR's wrestling is as good as Hamzat. What was the other one where he got taken? And Dricus is a different friggin' animal. So that's really what this comes down to. Can RDR get takedowns? I don't think his style of takedowns are that good. I think Whitaker's going to be on his bike, sticking and moving, pumping the jab out, landing some of those. Like, Whitaker is just all around good. And I get him at minus 150 here. This feels like recency bias to me. This feels like the biggest recency bias spot I've seen in a while. Yeah, he lost to DDP and Hamzat, and RDR has rolled off some wins we didn't expect him to get. Now I get minus 150 on Whitaker. Cool. Sign me up. This is like the first time we've disagreed in a while. A lot of times I'm kind of a little bit vanilla on the main event where I go even on one guy, over on another. That's what I did last week, even though I picked Poirier. I was like, don't let a Holloway win beat you. I had to make some weird decisions because of the ownership, and I still end up a little bit under on Max, and it's fine. This one, I'll be over Whitaker, under on DeRitter. I'm taking a stand on this fight. If I'm wrong, I'm wrong. But Bobby Knuckles for me is the play. I would run him in all formats, and I like the one promotion. I like RDR. I think he's going to be good in the UFC.
Mm-hmm.
I just don't think
this is a huge fight for him. I mean, huge.
This is. I just don't think this is the spot. It was better for the division if RDR wins, but give me Whitaker.
Yeah.
All right, don't go anywhere. That is all the fights, but we're not done yet. We got to do the most important thing, hand out our kill shots. Kill shots, if you're not familiar, well, first of all, welcome to the show. Hit the like button, share with your friends. Even if you know what it is, hit the like button, share with your friends. Get in the Discord. A kill shot is an under-owned GPP play that can help you win one of those tournaments. Shouldn't be chalk. It can be a favorite if it's going to be something different. Where can you get different? Where can you get leverage on the field to help you win a tournament? If you're not familiar with some of that terminology, you really need to get in DFS Army and talk DraftKings strategy with us. You were a little bit behind. That being said, Monk, who can help the people who they do not expect? Who can help them win a GPP? I think I know where you're going to go. I'm relatively positive I know where you're going to go. Hit us up.
You should, because obviously, as you already said, and I was thinking about this on the way home, and I totally agree. Can't pick Guskov. That would obviously be number one with a bullet for me, but he's just going to be too high owned. Huge GPP fight, so we got to skip that one. It's going to be Martin Budai for sure, 7,100. Nobody's going to play this dude. Everyone thinks he's a low volume, just slow, bald guy, which, fair enough. But one of those things is not true. He is not low volume. So yeah, and he's going against a non-striker. So as long as he can avoid getting the takedown, 7,100 might look real magical by the end of the day.
So I'm in a tough spot because this week I'm. Can I really do this? I think I'm going to need a ruling. I'm in a tough spot because the dogs I really like, Guskov, way too chalky, right?
Mm-hmm.
Budai you took. I have them higher on Buchecha. I would throw Budai into the mix. those are really and Ricci. So what I'm worried about is Ricci is a dog I pick, but I don't know if the GPP optimal smashing upside is really there. She's
Yeah,
really close. I'll go Ricci if you tell me. Oh God, because the other alternative is to just slam in the mid-range fight and say Bryce fucking Mitchell,
that's
because
true.
no one's gonna play him.
I mean, you could always go with a little MAB.
No, I'm not quite there. I don't think you. You know what? I can't in any
Yeah,
good
it's
conscience
rough this week for
say
sure.
Bryce Mitchell. I can't say Bryce Mitchell. He'll be the honorable mention. Him, yeah. Give me Baby Shark.
Yep.
Baby Shark. Do 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 do. Do. I had to do it. You have kids, and yeah, it's rough. I will go Tabitha Ricci, and I good. I feel a little better about myself. I'll be able to sleep. Go take that deuce I was talking about. All right,
Yeah.
guys, that's what we got for UFC Abu Dhabi 11 fights. The bonus 12th fight will be in the DFS Army Discord. Hit the like button, share with your friends. Follow Monk at Monk Maddox, MonkMattix. I'm at Sniper Wins. You can't spell that. I already said I don't like dum dums, but actually, you can still follow me. Just use the Google and try and find Sniper Wins. Monk, anything before we get the fuck out of here?
No, I mean, I'm glad I'm back. It was nice to be away from a week rooting on my boy in his tournament, but it is good to be back. And next week, guys, not to look ahead. I mean, we've got a decent man, Tyra. We've got Rumbeshki. We've got my guy Esteban Ribovic. He's going to smash Elvsbrenner. And the
Brenner's a fun
aforementioned.
fighter, though. He's
It is. It's a fun fight. The aforementioned Tadolfo Vieta is fighting. Austin Bashi might not throw a strike at all. Rinya Nakamura, Bekhoyev. There's some decent fights next week happening at. We're back at the Apex, baby. Back at back at the mighty Apex. So get excited. But yeah, looking forward. Not overlooking this card, like Sniper said. Early card. Get your stuff done on time. And early cards are the best. I love them.
Unpopular opinion. I like Apex cards.
I do too.
I don't. I wouldn't have. I agree. They probably shouldn't be 3 out of 4 weeks.
Right.
But you
Yes.
like mix one in once a month. Cool.
Yep.
I'm in. It's something different. I like being able to hear fucking everything. Like it's just.
Yeah, I want to hear the coaches yelling at their guy. I want to hear him yelling at Daniel Zellhuber, "You need to finish," and then he lands one kick and three. It's just like Jesus Christ.
I want mandatory one Apex card a month, and on that card there must be at least 2 Ray Longo fighters minimum.
Oh yeah, 100%.
Like that.
I've never agreed with something quicker.
That's worth the price of admission. So
yeah,
should be a fun card next week, but we got to get through this week. Helmets up, guys. See the helmets up at the top of the leaderboard. Make sure you join us and are one of those helmets. Click the like button. I know I've said it a few times. It really does help guys, and I appreciate everybody in the Discord who jumped in the live stream with questions, comments. I know I'll go in Discord, get plenty more questions throughout the week. See you guys in the Discord. For Monk, I'm Sniper. Have a good week. We'll catch you next time.